Hello and welcome to the MHR podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Alice.
Alice, no one is doing anything right now apart from talking about Christmas. We're not even to the end of the first week of December and everyone is just talking about Christmas.
Absolutely. And how many times have I heard, oh, have you put your Christmas tree up yet? Have you, Andy?
No, I haven't. I have. I haven't decorated it yet.
Are you doing it?
It was enough.
Pots?
It was enough to get it in a pot and I got tired. I thought I'll do that later. And I'm not going to do it in the week, am I? I'm going to have to wait till the next weekend.
Too busy, clearly.
Yeah.
That was something to look forward to for the weekend.
I'm not looking forward to it. That's why I've delayed it so long.
What theme do you have? I'm thinking you've got red on your tree, traditional.
No. Oh, well, there's bits of red. It's a makeshift one. I'd like to go along the lines of the ugliest decoration I can find.
Oh, I've seen some ornaments, what they call the Christmas tree decorations.
Yeah,
that are literally
really
like French fries,
ones.
Burgers.
Yeah, they've got a sushi one. I've got lots of very weird looking animals that are not very healthy. I'm here for it. Anything that makes people go, oh, that's Christmas. Anyway,
Perfectly summed up.
The point being is we're even talking about it now, which means
Yeah.
everyone else is getting fed up who don't want to celebrate Christmas or can't be bothered with it because nothing else is getting done. So we thought we could spin it on its head. While you are opening your Christmas Advent calendar and getting your chocolate every morning or afternoon, we thought we could supply you with an alternative. So this episode, we're going to focus on our 12 Christmas Advent advice bits. We'll make it jingle, but that's my view. 12 hints and tips for the end of the year and the start of 2025.
Yeah, and I think these tips they're quite generic, so they can be adaptable to whether you work in HR, payroll, you're a manager, or if you're an employee and you work in business, own your own business. I feel like they are quite adaptable, aren't they? What kind of we're going to list off here.
The whole world of work, whatever you do, these tips are relevant for you.
Absolutely. Tip number 1. What have we got?
So, if you are getting into, say it's the 1st of December, you're opening your little Advent calendar door.
Yep.
Tip number 1 is start early with planning and promotions. Why should you do that? Well, customers begin holiday shopping early every year. If you work in retail, hospitality, you need to be way ahead of how you're getting on top of that. So, in fact, if you're doing it now, it's too late. You need to start thinking about what promotions you're doing for next year and how you can get ahead of that, what tactics and tools and techniques you should be using. So a good example of that is to launch campaigns mid-November next year so you can make sure you're capitalising on December next year. Use teasers, use pre-sales and capture early interest throughout the year.
Definitely. Give you that competitive edge, wouldn't you?
Don't run into next year thinking about what we're going to do next month. Have it planned ahead and do it a few months in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be interesting as well is to see, especially with it being seasonal Christmas, that you'll see again what works well this year.
Yeah.
Take that learning and take it forwards into next year. If you know that something of that campaign worked or something was drawing people into look at your campaign, look at your website, that sort of thing, why not reuse it? If you know that it's working, bring it back.
Hint number 2, well, so not hint, advice number 2. For the second door, we open into personalised customer experiences. Now, this is an interest to you, right, with your role,
Absolutely,
Alice?
yes. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I work in customer success at MHR. So, personalising customer experiences wholeheartedly lands on my lap here. So, what we're speaking about here is you're wanting to boost engagement and loyalty through personalisation. Yeah. If something's personalised, famous campaign I always think about is the Coca-Cola bottles with the names on.
Okay.
Everyone would reach for the name. You'd go searching, wouldn't you? Yeah. Even for the more unusually spent, you'd still go and find your name.
It's mad, isn't it? Because obviously one of the biggest organisations in the world for like products and consumables, and everyone goes, isn't it great that I've got a personalised bottle with the name Dave on it? Okay, the fact that there's 50 million bottles been churned out that day with Dave on it doesn't mean it's that personalised to you, but it feels like it's for you. You have an attachment to it. And I suppose that's the essence of it at the core, isn't it?
100%.
Is making that customer feel like there's something there just for them.
Definitely. And I think, like I say, that's the physical kind of outcome benefit value of doing personalisation. But for that customer experience is the feeling that they get from that is that they might become more loyal to you, and that obviously then will boost your business performance. So it's kind of like I say 2 steps there really. But the kind of ways that you could go about that is you could leverage your customer data that you've collected this year, and that means you could tailor your email campaigns, you could tailor product recommendations, or at least do targeted ads. So like I say, really honing in on using that data that you've captured through the whole year, and making your end user, or like say your target audience, a lot more receptive to what you're putting out there for them.
behind door number 3 as we get into December. The tip here is optimize your e-commerce platform. So what does that mean really? Well, we're all very aware that things are being consumed increasingly online. The ability for retailers as well as any form of B2B or B2C business to be able to sell or optimize or release their products digitally through an e-commerce platform is essential. That's where people's trends and purchases are going, right? People want out the box, ready to go stuff, or feel like it's just ready and actionable. They want it now.
You think as well how many people are shopping online?
Yeah, right. Massively. And the trend is shifting away from the high street, but that's not just a B2C sense, it's in a B2B sense as well.
Yeah.
So ensure that your website is mobile friendly if you haven't already. Like why should anyone have to open up a laptop now to understand your brand and what you offer? Make sure you're fast loading, you're secure, and make sure you're testing out all your processes online and that user experience. Does it work on all devices? Can everyone access it all the time? It's not something you should just be thinking about before Christmas, but throughout the whole year.
Yeah, probably just an additional tip on that one. Like you say, if people are clicking through your website or from an ad on Instagram, if you're using that platform, is trying to make it as least steps as possible. So if it's 3 steps, I think you're going to see a lot more return on that investment to, kind of make it e-commerce platform worthy. But I think as well, like I say, everyone's busy at Christmas. You've got work, you've also got end of the year, and you've got Christmas shopping and family and friends to see. So if you can make it as quick and as simple for, like I say, the business or client to come through to your business, they are more likely to engage with you, and you're going to see that return.
Another one, we'll likely touch it because we talk about it all the time, but it's number 4 is embrace omni-channel marketing. That's and this is where I'll get nerdy about it as a marketer, but this is the idea that, there's no point just doing one thing on one channel and hoping for the best and wishing for the best of luck. You've got to understand that your customers are there and are going to interact with a brand on every possible channel. If you can create multiple touch points where they're getting the same consistent message that's engaging them at different levels of their journey through different levels of content, you're going to see a lot more success. So we'll glaze over that. It's marketing 101, but absolutely look at the channels you're using, look at how you engage, and look at how all of your customers are engaging with different platforms, and get your message consistent across each so they feel like they're getting a multi-touch point engagement from you.
Absolutely. Bleeding quite nicely from that one, which is a bit of a funny one, I think, for us. But tip number 5, create holiday-themed content.
Weird. It's almost like we thought about that and then did a Christmas-themed podcast.
I know.
People are going to resonate with stuff that's relevant to them right now. If we're talking about certain holidays, if we're talking about certain events, make sure you're having a similar conversation that they're engaging with, they're searching for and listening to.
Indeed. So, keep it simple, festive blogs, you could do videos. Yeah. Most popular, I think we're going to see this year, social media posts. Yeah. It is endless of content, isn't it?
Reels and reels of reels, I think.
Absolutely. And you don't know what band has been singing all the festive songs earlier today, much to my delight.
Coming out now, which no one's going to download because you don't download CDs, and that's how out of touch I am. Number 6 is offer exclusive holiday discounts and bundles. We've just got through Black Friday, right? Everyone's trying to do it. Yeah. It's not just a simple B2C consumer thing anymore. Lots of organisations do kind of different sponsorship packages. It's worth thinking about. Obviously too late now for the end of the year, but what are you going to do to kind of kickstart your revenue year next year?
Definitely.
Lots to think about there.
Keep an eye on, I think, what competitors are doing this year as well. I think some people might be quite creative with what offers they have got on the table, and especially with limited time offers. I've noticed it's such a fast market now. Give an example, went to order something on Amazon on Sunday, thought I'll wait till Monday. Missed the offer.
Yeah, there you go.
So look at what your competitors are doing. See if you can tie that in for anything.
There's a lot of power behind the ability to make someone panic buy, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's definitely.
Number 7 is on focus yourself and your business on customer service.
Absolutely. So exceptional service, we all know, will take you far and put you apart from the competitive market. So what you need to do is hone in on your customer service in terms of what levels of support are you giving for your current clients, or what could you be offering for prospects or people, like I say, if you're in retail walking through the door. It brings, I think, the whole what we're speaking about here, which is everyone wants to feel part of this festive season. And whilst a lot of things are going on, some people might be stressed. If they have a good customer service, they're always going to think positive about your business. So with that, if you have the ability for a live chat support, if there's additional support that you might need to add to the team in this busy period, that can be a good way. But I think what it kind of comes down to with customer service is addressing it in a very timely manner. That's ultimately what we're working at with society now, isn't it? Everything needs to be a lot quicker, a lot sooner. So overall, customer service, definitely a highlight for that one. And it's Christmas. We all talk about service and what we've experienced. So definitely putting that on your radar.
Cool. Number 8, as we open up the door, leads into leverage social media trends. Why? Because we've just said it. Social media is going to be your probably biggest influencer throughout the holidays and into New Year and beyond in terms of how people consume content. So make sure you're leveraging what is popular, what is trending, because that's what people are looking for. That's how the algorithms work in terms of bringing you new content.
Yep.
It's based on your interests and trends. If you're tapping into what your customers' interests and trends are using social, you're more likely to reach them. It makes sense.
Definitely. And I think just as well with loyalty programs, if you can specialize a group of like, say, people or employees, it could be internal to business and that they have early access to something, it can really help build, I guess, kind of not so much the trust, but I think you can think what I'm thinking, Andy, but it draws people into wanting to continue that relationship or partnership.
That's where
with
you've
the
jumped ahead of me.
business.
So that's number 9 is loyalty programs.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. So yeah, it's a reason to come back. Why should I be an advocate of this brand? Why do I like it? It is that kind of, I've invested some time and effort and emotional input into that organisation. I want something back. How are they going to give that back? Discounts, early access, like you say, or kind of limited experiences for those that are most loyal. A reason to kind of be an advocate for that brand.
It does go hand in hand, actually, because, like I say, feel like social media, you become really familiar with brands, don't you? Especially the ones that are on a regular basis in front of your eyes. And then I think the second step is you wanting to grab them as loyal customers. So
Recognise that loyalty is also resonates really well with a customer, doesn't it? Oh, you've appreciated that I've spent a lot of time with you. I like that feeling that you're recognised that I'm loyal to your brand.
Definitely. Door number 10 is be eco-conscious. So this one's a bit of an interesting one when I looked at it, but sustainability resonates with modern consumers. So I'm sure throughout the whole business year, people have heard the word sustainability floating around. Hugely important in the marketplace as well as I think globally. So what that means is, can you highlight any eco-friendly packaging you might have? You might look at any sustainable products, or is your business working sustainability? Now's the time of the year that you could be highlighting, and what could you be bringing into the new year to help promote that about your business and products?
You see it time and time again, and not just in a kind of a consumer level of like, I like this because it feels like it's friendly for the earth and I feel like this company's supporting me as a consumer. But from a B2B point of view as well, organisations want to share their values with other organisations when they're building a relationship. So we have a very strong eco-friendly policy and how we're going to be sustainable as an organisation. I want to work with company B that shares those values because together we can work together to meet our strategic goals about whether that's reducing carbon footprint or whether that's the work we do with the local economies or charities or communities.
Yep.
Well, I want to work with another business that shares and resonates those values because that's part of what drives my company and employee culture.
Absolutely. Mentioned that quite a lot in our recruitment conversations, haven't we?
Yeah.
About, like say, newer generation looking for sustainability. So, Andy, door number 11.
Prepare for high demand. Again, this is very retail centric, I suppose. The way this is trying to think about all of these is it's saying, these type of years generate more demand, especially because people seem to want to spend more money around Christmas from a B2C point of view. But from a B2B point of view, you're looking at kind of how we're wrapping up for the year. What are our plans for next year? How can I start spending maybe what's left over from the year from our budgets or plan what my budget for next year is? So this is when people start making kind of bolder or braver decisions on what they're going to be purchasing.
Absolutely. And I think with high demand as well, thinking internally for businesses, or corporate businesses especially, if you've got that high demand, either how can you match it to make sure that people aren't burning out in this busy period, because we know what it's like at the end of the year, but also looking at your productivity levels, is it manageable at this time of year? Maybe we could prepare better for next year. So some data probably to capture this month and then look back, maybe once after January, kickstart the year, bring back in February and have a look at it, see what you can learn.
Yeah. And last not least, you're getting to the end of your advent calendar-ish. I mean, we're only giving you 12 because you're going to go off for holidays soon. So is reflect and gather feedback. Continuously improve how you work by listening to what other people are saying, absorbing that information, and then applying it to where you start to change the way you work. So it's the season of Christmas. Lots of people are preoccupied, but why don't you use this time to analyse your data, to gather feedback from customers, to gather feedback from your internal employees, and identify where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and where you've got an opportunity to grow. Now, we talk till we're blue in the face about people data and what people first does and how but that's why it's so important. Because if you can in a single snapshot look at where your kind of absenteeism is, where your skills are being utilised, where people are taking time off for what they need, where people are highly performing, if all that can come into a visualisation, you can start business planning with real intent, and actually you can really start to do the things that impact and your employees value the most.
Yeah, and I was just going to make a point actually about that visualization. Great collecting it, great reviewing it, but serve it up, make it into something that you can share, not just like say across kind of the senior management, right down to employees. They want to be able to learn from what the data's shown. And also, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of presentational graphs. It can be celebrating, recognising success. So do you have awards? Probably at this time of year people do. But also not just this month, but throughout next year is, like say, utilise that data. How can you then bring it back to the employees or back to your customers in terms of your successes? Or if there's a learning, what changes have you made? Highlight them, that you're a growing business, and that ultimately, if you're making changes and you're flexing to learning, you're going to be more sustainable in the long run.
Yeah. So that's it. We're going to finish on one last bonus tip there for you. This is like some of those advent calendars where some of them have 24 days, some of them are 25.
Oh, there's not many of them anymore, is there?
Well, this. Pretend you got the next one. The bonus tip is celebrate your team, which is 100%. The most important thing we could probably say on this podcast, being a look at HR and the world of work, but celebrate your team. Like, don't forget your employees. This could be a very stressful time of year for a lot of industries. You're wrapping up the year as well. Some people are going on holiday and they might be stressed about what they're leaving behind. Celebrate them. Offer them incentives that show that you've appreciated what they've done this year. Boost their morale, right? Because it leads to better performance. Hands down, the stats say it every time, right? By focusing on strategies that we've said before, right, you can allow your business to maximize its potential, leverage the power that you have behind your people, and strengthen those customer relationships. So not only are you going to have a good Christmas 2024, but you're going to be set for a good 2025.
Absolutely. So, hope you enjoyed those 12 pieces of advice and the bonus one at the end, which I would say most important.
Let's all agree that we can stop talking about Christmas now. Yeah, we've got 2 weeks left of business planning we've got to get doing, so we'll meet you next week and we'll talk about all things HR, payroll, finance again. Is that all right?
We'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas.